I love watching Amir Khan, Shah Rukh, Salman, the films that they bring. Like, I love Peaky Blinders, right?
Yes.
So I know that there's another season that's being
Yes.
shot. So I've started Peaky Blinders from season 1 again.
Hey guys, it's Manjari Mukherjee and you're watching me on Pop Diaries channel. I am in conversation with a very, very special person. He is very close to my heart. He is special because I've really missed talking to him and catching up with him. And it's none other than the charming, handsome, and very, very talented Karan Tacker.
Thank you so much, Manjari. You really made me pink in the cheeks.
I hope so, because you do the same for me. Okay, I really love the way you smile at me all the time I talk to you.
But that's because you've got a lovely smile. You have a concept of life. You pretty much respond to people the way they are. So you've got this lovely smile going on. It's really infectious.
Thank you so much. Oh my god. Okay. First of all, Karan, I've asked this to many people who have, come back to work after the pandemic,
right.
And, like now that things are coming back to right. How are you feeling mentally and emotionally these days? Considering the fact that, you were in-house with your family, staying so close, away from everything. It must be weird reconnecting with the outside world again. So how's the pressure? How are you handling it?
Actually, quite frankly, I think I dived into normalcy very quick. It's such a, we human beings have such an instant switch that when you find a familiar environment, which is, let's say, being in front of the camera and being on a set for me, you suddenly go back to normalcy and you literally just forget that, oh, you know what, there's COVID going out there. And for me, I was shooting right now in Jharkhand, and we're shooting like pretty much into the interiors of Jharkhand. So there's very little population there, and it's really spread out. So in a district you've got like different towns. Every town is about 100 kilometers from each other. 50 kilometers away from each other. So it's so isolated that you don't see people. So you totally forget the fact that yaar COVID chal raha hai. It's only when I came back to Bombay or when I was taking a flight back home, I was like, oh my god, I still have to get into the whole system of a mask, a shield, and because that in let's say in bigger cities, because the population and the interaction, the possibility of spread is much more. But how did I feel emotionally? I have to be very honest. I think I'm so happy working again. For me, my sense of belonging is my career. And also, I think we actors are blessed to kind of have a hobby, which is a profession. So it's just a lot of fun to be back on set and acting, and you're trying to create a character off a page, and having chats about how to approach the next day or the next scene. Going back, trying retakes. So the whole process of it is so much fun. Yeah, मुझे इतना मजा आ रहा है ना, I can't tell you. I'm really feeling like this is the best phase of my career where I'm just really getting to dabble with characters that I always wanted to, and quite frankly, I'm at the same time it's such a learning curve. As a budding actor, looking at senior actors performing, and you see like all established actors, and you're like, wow, how do they do this? And then you come to a point in your life where you get characters where you can try those things, and you're learning on the job while you're doing it, and you've got this amazing team of DOPs, directors, producers who believe in you and who pretty much handhold you through it. So for me, it's something that I'm really enjoying, and I mean emotionally, I think I'm very elated. I'm back in Bombay for a week between my schedule, for a personal little bit of a family thing. So I get back to work on the 1st of October. So yeah, I'm just in a really good phase in life.
What is the look going on, Karan? I mean, you look good.
Right.
Essay in normal days. I look at your Instagram, I look at your pictures, and your smile, and like, he really made my day. But right now, I'm looking at you with a mustache. What is the look? What is the story behind this look? Please tell me.
Well, first of all, I'm beginning to feel like you're complimenting me too much. It's making me really, it's getting me really embarrassed and shy. But
it's all coming from the place that I really miss talking to you. Yes.
You should just call me as well on some days. But this look is for something that I'm doing. I've never really played a mustache before. So for me, it was it was something that was brand new, and I've always had a stubble, or at some in some points in my career I've been clean shaven, but I don't think I've really dabbled with having a stash. So I'm really enjoying it, quite frankly. At first I think everybody in my family was like, so everybody started comparing me to different members of the family, because I have a lot of mamus who have a mustache, I have my chachus who have a mustache.
Oh.
So someone's like, oh, you're looking like this mamu, you're looking like that, you're looking like this one, because obviously all of us resemble each other in some way or the other. But I think now, I've had a mustache for a good 35-40 days now. I just feel like I don't know what I look like without a mustache. It's really become a part of me, and it's something that I'm taking care of like it's a baby, because you've got to groom it on a everyday single basis.
Yes.
You've got to figure out how to shave it right. Plus, I haven't even shaved like in a good 6-7 years, other than some work things here and there. So getting back, in fact, my dad just yesterday, I was like, Dad, I'm shaving and I'm getting burns and all, my skin's become sensitive. He's like, what I'm going to do is, why don't you shave with me tomorrow? I'll teach you how to do it, because sometimes the growth is, so it's so brand new, but I'm loving it. So it's for something that I'm shooting, which unfortunately at this moment would be too soon to comment on. And yeah, I'm just hoping that when the whole facade comes together, people enjoy what they see.
But in general, Karan, what's cooking? It's been so long, seriously, that fans have heard from you about what you're doing,
right,
and what what we can look forward to next.
Right.
So what happened?
So So my big move was with Special Ops. I was supposed to be the package of surprise in the whole series, and I'm really happy that it paid off in a certain way. There was a whole amount of appreciation that I got for the kind of work that I did. And when you do something with the likes of a Neeraj Pandey, people take you a little more seriously about what you want to do with your career. So I really waited for my turn, quite frankly. I really waited when I took a break from doing television to kind of trying to make the big move to work with makers that are more like-minded and to do projects that I would love to be a part of. So after Special Ops, unfortunately, the whole world went into a lockdown. So while it would have been really nice to have kind of snowballed into another job, but for 2 years we were shut down. So the project I'm actually doing right now, this is something that we locked right around the release of Special Ops. It's just gone on floor right now with the entire, because it's a big production. There's too many people. So to get everything together in COVID as a situation. Also because we're shooting in real locations, so there's too many parameters to be taken care of. So keeping all that in mind, we've just gone on floor about 40 days back. So that's what I'm doing. Also, see, I'll tell you, I'm somebody who, like I said, I love what I do. So I don't want to compromise on what I love. There's a certain kind of work that I want to do, and I'm very specific with it. So I take my time. I'm in no hurry. I want to be an actor for the rest of my life. It is not a stint that I'm playing. So I like to take it slow. I like to take it easy. Also, there's a certain amount of self-assurance that I have that this is the kind of work that I can do and this is the kind of work that I can get. So I'm doing that, and like I said, it's something that I'm enjoying shooting. So I waited my turn. So even in these 1.5-2 years, all the projects that came my way, what I'm doing right now was the benchmark, because I knew that I already signed this and this is going on floor. So I didn't want to do anything to compromise the outcome of that. So I just hung back, and my producers and my directors have an immense amount of faith in me, and vice versa. So it was an understanding that we had, and I just chilled out. And I'm not a very social media person as such. I like to put out a little bit of my personal life, my family life. The general idea of showing off who you are, with the way you're looking and stuff like that. But I'm not somebody who's very rampantly out there to put out every single day of my life. I am very private. And that's how I enjoy it, quite frankly.
You were talking about Special Ops, and the thing that crossed to my mind was recently I was just going to what to watch, and I was re-watching Special Ops because that exactly.
I don't believe you.
No, I'm serious. I'm honest. I'm really honest. And then I was also, we were getting news of its second season coming in and stuff like that. So I wanted to, like just regroup what has happened in season one and everything. And I did that, and I was like, oh my god, he really is an out and out such a fitness actor. I love him the way he is on screen.
Wow.
But there must have been times, right, and that you must have. There must have been times when you must have felt that how should I part with this character, especially if it is something so overly, layered like that of Farooq.
How should I part with it? As in, how should I let go of the character?
Yeah, like kind of there must have been some characters that you just can't let go of. Like it's become a part of you somehow.
I mean, I think it's the other way around. I feel like you leave a part of you in a character. So, but yeah, you're right. Actually, there's a whole amount of character that comes into you also. Farooq was a lot of fun playing. There's a whole amount of credit that I should give to Neeraj Pandey and the writers, because sometimes when you've got something on a page already to play, it becomes it becomes a little more fluid. So there was Farooq. For me, actually, my relationship of Farooq and Himmat is me and Neeraj Pandey, quite frankly. For me, Neeraj Pandey is. I'm sorry, I'm last naming him like that. For me, he's always sir. But for me, Neeraj Pandey is my Himmat Singh, and that's pretty much how I approached him. I got lucky because he shot my entire schedule. So whenever I used to do a scene where I was talking to Himmat, for me it was a conversation that I was having with Neeraj Pandey, because that's the kind of respect and love I think I have for him. So that really helped me in my character development as far as Farooq is concerned. But you don't want to leave characters. The charm of doing a series, or let's say as an audience, when I also watch a series, and you made me very happy to say this, that because there's another installment coming, you went back to watching it, because I do that for the shows that I love watching. Like I love Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah.
So I know that there's another season that's being shot. So I've started Peaky Blinders from season 1 again to kind of go and like get into the whole thing again. So I totally know what you mean, and I think as actors, it's not that you leave a certain part, but the minute, let's say, if you go into a season 2, it's so external to internal that the minute you are on that set in that costume with those people who are your co-stars, you suddenly come back into that. And I've realized that with what I'm shooting right now. The minute, I mean, I'm Karan. We're all the people that we are. But the minute you get into your costume and you do the final touches to your look and you come on the environment that's been given to you, there's such a switch, and it is so creepy, because even though you're an actor, that this is all like it's all a play, but that switch is so fascinating, and you don't know where you're getting those facets to add and adorn that character. But I totally love it. So I don't really like to let go of things. I do feel like there's so much of the television characters that I've played that have really added on to who I am. I played a character called Viren. So there's a certain amount of Therav and charm that he had. I think that has jumped off the page and that's come to me. There's a certain amount of style that Farooq had, which I feel like I added on. But Neeraj sir sort of shaped me in a certain way to make it in a real space. So I think that's really stayed on with me, and it's I was say something, sorry, and it's something that I enjoy, and I like for it to stay with you, because see, that's the fun. I mean, it's like let's say you do something that's monumental, and there was one costume that was monumental of a show or one accessory, and you want to keep that accessory as a memento. So I feel like a little facets of a character that are left back with you, you want to hold them as a memento for probably the rest of your life, or as long as you can remember.
Very true. I really love the way you answer questions. I like it.
Listen,
you're
really...
okay. In the pandemic, the talent, I saw a rise in the way how we are looking at talent. We saw an era, somehow I think it's an end of the era of the television and the end of an era of superstardom as well. We are giving more weightage to talent. So do you think right now the industry is moving along, the audiences is also helping the industry moving along to a space where connection, superstardom, all these things won't matter where you come from and everything. The only thing that matter would be the story, the content, and the talent.
I mean, that would be an idealistic working scenario if what you said was true. But I feel like the challenges of the industry and let's say everything that you mentioned, that's always going to be a constant, quite frankly. But see, as me as an actor, yes, one thing I do believe that me as an audience, actually, for that matter, when we let's say when we watch something on the web, we're all expecting it for it to be top quality. When I say top quality, you expect great writing first. You expect good performances. You expect amazing cliffhangers because it's that 8 hours of concentrated viewing. You want people to be hooked onto their television sets for that amount of time. So the way you're telling that, so as an audience, you naturally feel like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be engaged for 8 hours. It's going to be great storytelling. It's going to be great performances. I think audiences, because when I chat with people who are, let's say, not from, the industry, you realize that people know actors' names, still know character actors' names, which never happened. It's because of the fine storytelling that's really happening right now. And everybody's keeping a track of the trajectory of actors that probably, let's say, nobody spoke about earlier when they had smaller parts in films. So yes, I think there's been a great amount of shift that people are really expecting quality. Actually, that's how it should have always been. I don't know why it took the pandemic for that realization, but if it did, great, why not? So it's amazing that the web commands a certain amount of space where for certain that, oh, you know what, if doesn't matter who the maker is, but let's say if there is something that's coming and I'm enjoying watching the trailer, I'm 100% going to go and watch the show. So that change has really happened, and people have become very woke and aware of the kind of content that's out there, and everybody wants the value for their time. So I think it's put a whole lot of pressure on the makers and actors that you've always got to bring your top game. Is why I think all of us are also really focusing on doing one project at a time. You're giving that much time. You're giving 6 months, 7 months. At times, like for what I'm doing right now, I think I've already invested about a good year and a half into it. Because I signed it when Special Loves came out, and I'm shooting it right now. So I think we're all investing a certain amount of time into what we're doing because you are at least trying to put your best foot forward, assuming that the result is going to be well consumed. So yes, there has been a shift. Having said that, I mean, everything you said about industry and the angle of superstars and stardom, I feel that's going to always be a part of it. There's always going to be some people that you really admire. Even me as an actor, there are some actors that I really look forward to watching. Like I love watching Hrithik Roshan do what he does in War. He's just too cool for school. So as a boy, as a budding actor, you always want to be in a state of enigma when you see these superstars, and you want to enjoy that. I love watching Amir Khan, Shah Rukh, Salman, the films that they bring. I'm a big fan of both Ranbir and Ranveer. So I feel like there's a certain amount of stardom that there is there, but it also comes back with the kind of quality of work you're doing. Stardom is just not as transparent as it used to be. I think even there, people are expecting that, hey, it's got to be great work, or it's got to really say a plot or a story that has to get glued into your stardom. It just can't be because you look a certain way or, however stardom's defined.